Hello, my dear learners. You're most welcome. This is Education Online. Today we are going to look at English language for Senior 3 and Senior 4. Therefore, I invite you to be with me for this lesson. This lesson is the continuation of our previous lesson that we looked at one function of writing called speech making. In the speech making, remember, my dear learners, I taught you and I told you clearly that a speech is made of three different aspects. And these are one, we have the format, we have the language, and we have the content. Remember, my dear learners, previously I showed you how the format of a speech look like, and we said that format is just the structure of the speech. I taught you everything about the format, what the speech must have. For instance, I taught you how to develop the title, how to write protocol, observing the protocol or the members who are invited in that particular function. I even taught you under format how to greet, how to introduce yourself. You now know in this case that format also has that introduction of topic, and we concluded our format by conclusion of a speech. I showed you very well how to summarize or conclude your speech. I did not stop there, my dear learners. We went on to look at the language of a speech, and we say that every functional writing, or all these functional writings, they have their special language to use. For instance, I told you a speech is supposed to use formal language. Two, I told you that under language, the language of a speech must have present tense, but if you're referring to a flashback or the past, you will use past tense, or you will keep varying the tense according to the occasion. And I still promise you in our previous lesson, when we were looking at the language, that I will come back and teach you how to develop the content of a speech. That is the body of a speech. My dear learners, this body of a speech, you cannot develop it until when you know what we call flatform manners. That's why today we are going to look at flatform manners. What must you do when you are now making the actual speech? Remember, this content is the actual speech. This is the last part of the speech that we want to look at today. It is called content, or the body of the speech, but we are going to connect it to the flatform manners. You cannot develop the content until when you know what we call flatform manners. Now, let us start our lesson by looking at what is this flatform manners. The word manners alone means good behavior. Good behavior in the public, or may not even be in the public, but mainly in the public. Therefore, flatform mean where you can have your audience gathered before you, where you make a speech. That's what we call flatform. Some people call it pulpits, but most people call it flatform. Now we have some manners that you must exhibit, the good behavior. Oh, there are certain mannerism or heel manners that you must not make it when you are making a speech. Now let us start it straight away and see. What are these flatform manners? What are the good manners that a good speaker must exhibit when making a formal speech in this way? One, let us look at what we call eye contact. eye contact is one of the platform manners that will lead you into developing of the content or the body of a speech. One, you can write it there down. One of the platform manners. Number one, eye contact. Eye contact. Eye contact. My dear learners, under eye contact, a good speaker must keep eye contact with the audience. In this I mean, you must look at your audience directly. For instance, if your audience are seated before you, or maybe they are standing before you, you should not look the opposite direction from where they are gathered. E.g., you should not look at the floor. If you're speaking to audience who are there, don't bend and look at the floor. Therefore, avoid looking at the floor. Avoid looking at the floor. Looking at the floor. Right. When you avoid looking at the floor, that means you will be looking at your audience. The audience are the listeners. Don't be bothered by the word audience. Are the listeners. You have to keep eye contact with them. In that way, they will feel good and they will listen to you attentively. Number two, under eye contact, you should not look through the window or just glancing anywhere, but you should keep your eye. For instance, if I do this, I'm sure you will not listen to me. If I begin to talk to you, but I'm looking through that window, you cannot listen to me until when you see me speaking. The lips, the nose, the glottis, all the speech organ must be seen by the listeners or the audience. You will be a very good speaker if you keep eye contact. Eye contact is very important in this case. Don't even turn your back to the audience. Don't turn like this, then you begin to speak. They may be guessing only your words. It is better to keep eye contact. See them. That way, they will not fear you. If you turn your back, then you have failed under eye contact. And you will not develop a good content. Remember, our subtopic is content development in this platform manners, and is still under speech making. So you should be very careful with that. You should also not look at the roof or the ceiling board. Some people, they are speaking when people are seated here, they will be speaking like this. Hello, learners. You're welcome. Now, learners will also begin to look up, or your audience will also begin to look up. They may think there's something very important you're looking at up there. That way, you would have distracted their attention. Please keep eye contact. Keep eye contact. Let us see number two. What is this platform manner apart from eye contact? Neatness. Neatness. Number two. It is called neat appearance. Neat appearance. Right. Under this neat appearance, there are so many things involved. Let us start straight away with one aspect, which is called decent dressing. Here, you are guided by the culture of a particular people. What some people call decent dressing, it is not decent to others. For instance, if you want to address Muslims, in this case, the Muslims do not condone short dresses. Therefore, if you come with your short dresses and you are addressing a community or audience who are Muslim in nature, you would have angered them, you would have annoyed them. So under neat appearance, please consider decency. Decency is under neatness. Decency. Be very decent, and the spelling of decent is here, not with S. Be very decent, and I told you decency depends on the particular community or society or the culture of your audience or the listeners in this case. If they don't require you to put makeups, never appear before your audience with makeups. For instance, some Christians like the Seventh Days. These Seventh Days, they don't condone makeups. Some of them even will never allow you to use extra air on your head like the whips. So you have to know your audience before. You have to plan before to avoid embarrassment. Not only that one, neatness does not mean only decency. It is cleanliness itself. Be clean. Be clean. Be very clean when you are going to speak to people. You never know, you may cause some trouble when you are speaking. Some people go without even brushing. It is very disgusting, my dear learners. So I want you to be very neat. If one day you decide to go and make a speech, be very clean in that way. You can take a good bath. You can brush your teeth. You can clean your face. Cleanse your face. Don't go with some saliva dripping from your mouth. And when you have not even combed your hair, so avoid uncombed hair, especially when you're going to meet people that may not require you to have very bushy hair. Be very careful in that case. Then for us, the women or the ladies, we should be very careful. Comb your hair neatly. Remember, when you're ready on the platform or the pulpit, you may not have the chance to comb again. So be very clean and decent under that one. Not only that one, look at dress code. Dress code. Dress code here. It is connected to decency. Now, dress code here. Dress code here, I mean, you should not overdress and don't underdress. To overdress may mean you have applied too much makeups, you have overcolored your dress. So if, for instance, you're going to speak and you want your listeners to pay attention, don't overdress, don't overcolor your dress. Shouting colors is always very embarrassing in most occasions. So you rather stick to a little bit dull color, but not too dull. You can color it a bit. So you have to style up a little bit, but not too much. In this way, you would have not overdressed and you would have not underdressed. Just be simple but smart. We are still talking about neat appearance. It is also, as I told you, you must be guided by the culture of that particular audience. Therefore, you will not go wrong. Right. Let us go to the third manners under this platform manners. We will look at posture or gesture. Number 3. Number 3, we will look at posture or even gesture. Here, we have so many things to look at, my dear learners. It is not ordinary standing or sitting down, but standing or sitting down is part of it. Here, if you are standing, then stand straight. That's the way I am standing now. I am addressing you and I am standing straight, but don't stand stiff. If you're stiff, it means you're almost immovable in this way. If you're standing stiff, that is a sign of fear. fear. Still, your listeners may think you're either sick or you're fearing something. So you have to stand straight but not stiff. Be very careful here. If you're seated, if you're making a speech while seated, then you should not cross your legs. Don't cross your leg when seated. Don't fold your arms unless you are demonstrating something. You should be very careful under this gesture. So here, stand straight. Stand straight, but not stiff. But not stiff. Right. When seated, sit, but don't cross your legs. Don't cross your legs. Your legs. Not even folding arms, by the way. In this way, your audience will know that you are with them, but you are not just too relaxed to speak to them, because crossing of the legs may mean something else. Can either mean you are too bossy, you want to show them that you are superior to them. You should not. So we're going to look at that one still under some other aspects. Here also, we are saying don't fidget. Don't begin to shiver before the audience. If you begin shivering, they will either say there's something disturbing you. So just be normal, natural in that way. Live the way you always live and speak to them naturally. If you begin to fidget or to shiver before them, then they may suspect you of something else. Avoid shivering, avoid being artificial in this way. Not only fidgeting or shivering before your audience, you should not lean against anything. Don't come and get a table, then you just lean and begin to speak. My dear ladies and gentlemen, I am here today to speak about the independence of South Sudan. Then they will say, is this speaker sick or she's just being proud? Don't lean. Don't go and just lean comfortably and you begin to say, okay, today I am here to tell you about the condition of our people living in the IDP camps. Then they will say, either you have come to insult them or you are not willing to speak with them. Don't lean. Just stand straight and speak naturally. That is still under posture or a gesture. You should also not stand akimbo. I don't like when speakers always stand akimbo. To stand akimbo means this. Just like this. In a certain wing. Standing akimbo, as if you're posing for a photo. No, the audience will not be pleased with you. You better stand straight, as I told you at the beginning. Let us also look at number 4. Our number 4 is about being friendly to your listeners. Be very friendly. How do you show to the listeners that you're friendly? One can be shown by putting a smile on your face. Be friendly. Be friendly. Now this one, the manifestation of a friendly speaker is always seen on the face. If you smile to the listeners or to your audience, they will know you are a friendly speaker. But if you come when you're too moody, they will begin to say, maybe he or she has come to condemn us. So smile, please. A smile is a sign of friendliness. Smile to your audience. Not only smile, you can also be friendly by using friendly words like my dear, like dear, my dear listeners. You can use words like please, I am pleased to be here. I am pleased to be here. I am pleased to be here. All these and other words, other expression will show to them that you are a friendly speaker. You mean no harm to them. But if you come without a smile and begin to use some words like, I want you to, you must do this, then they will say, we are finished. I think this one has come to clear us all. So you have to demonstrate friendliness through smile, through words like, polite expressions like, my dear listeners, I am pleased, I welcome you, I thank you so much, this and that. Those are some of the few examples of friendly words which you can show to your listeners or audience in that case. Even words like ladies and gentlemen can tell them that you're a friendly person. But if you begin to jump here and there and say, guys, this and that, they will not be pleased with you. I urge you strongly here, please be friendly to your listeners. Be very friendly to them. Smile. Let us go and look at number 5. We are still looking at how to develop the content of the speech. And this one is through Flatform manners. If you don't know this one, my dear learners, you will not make a good speech and you would have not developed any content. Today for us, we are developing our content by demonstrating or learning how to adapt to some platform manners. Now we are looking at our number 5. Number 5. Let us see our number 5. Number 5, my dear learners, is connected to planning. Planning. That is our number 5. Planning. Plan your speech. If you plan it, you will not go wrong. Now, how do you plan it? You plan it by making or doing research. You have to research. Now, the research here will not only be research on the topic that you're going to speak about. It will be divided into 2. Research on the topic. You can also make a research on the culture of the audience. Remember, I told you clearly in our previous lesson that a good speaker is the one that do a lot of research, and a good speaker is the one that knows his audience. If you don't know your audience, you are not a good speaker. So always research. Under culture here, you will look at what language do they understand best. What age group is my audience? If you're speaking to youth, you know the language to use. If you're speaking to elderly people, still you have to choose the words wisely. If you're speaking to religious people, you know what to do. That will guide you even in your dressing, It will guide you in the topic. It will guide you in the language you should use. Then here you will be looking also at the number of the audience. Is it a very large audience or small? Big or small? Even large? If it is large, then you will have to plan for some sound devices like the loudspeakers, so that you are not embarrassed. You don't need to stress and shout. If the audience is very small or not a large audience, you will have to go without any sound devices like the loudspeaker. Still, you will speak to them and they will listen to you well. So you need to research over all this. If at all you want to make a very good speech. Under planning, my dear learners, you will not only look at the culture, the topic, and the number of listeners. You will also connect now the topic to the occasion. You should know the occasion. For instance, if you are speaking during funeral, what type of word choice do you get? Will you still have the same way of speaking as if you're speaking in a wedding? Now here the occasion also. Occasion is also very important here. Occasion. The occasion. If you're speaking during funeral, your mood must change. Here now, smiling is not compulsory there. It is not even necessary at all. Why do you have to smile when people are shedding tears? You have to change your mood immediately. So it is very important under planning here. You have to research over this. Am I going to speak in a birthday or in a wedding ceremonies? Therefore, you will have to plan very well. Now let us look at the voice projection. Voice projection as our second last or even last. Number 6. Voice projection. This one is determined by the occasion. For instance, you should vary your projection. You should lower the voice and raise it at a certain point. You can speak in this way. Hello, learners. You're most welcome. This is this and this. So you have to vary. You go high, you lower. Go high and lower according to the occasion. So you have to be very careful in this one. Never should you use one voice throughout. It is very boring and monotonous in nature. So I warn you, use variety of voice projection in this case. Not only that one, let us look at the last platform manners when we are developing the content of a speech or when we are making the actual speech. That is what we call body language. Body language is the last one. Body language. Number 7. Body language. Body language here, my dear learners, is the way you use your body to speak without using words. For instance, if you want to show that there is something above, you can use even your hands. You can use it by raising your hands. If you want to show that there is chaos, you can use your body to show that there is something as if you are running. If you want to use, even you can use your hands to show steps, step by step. Even the eyes alone can speak for itself. when you bend a little bit, you should bend towards your listeners. There you will be very fine. So with this, I believe you now know how to make a speech, developing the content or the body. All these three parts now, you know the format, the language, and the content. Thank you very much. If you will use these platform manners that I've given you, eye contact, neat appearance, platform manners, voice, then body language, plus research and planning, then being friendly, you will be a very good speaker now and even in future. God bless you so much. Use this. Next time we will meet again. Bye bye for today.